Hey there, you're listening to the Thought Card bonus episode. Whoop whoop. Welcome to the Thought Card, a podcast about travel and money where planning, saving, and creativity leads to affording travel, building wealth, and paying off debt. We are the Financially Savvy Travelers. All right, so I'm usually scheduled to come on the podcast every other week, every other Thursday, but today I kind of stumbled upon some really cool information about cheap flights. So I had to jump on the mic real quick so that I can share all this juicy information that I've picked up along the way. So you might not know this, but I'm a Virgo, and Virgos are notorious for a bunch of things, but they're very analytical and logic driven. So it's natural for me to kind of always be in tune with data. And I love when different booking sites and different companies release data about travel because it helps us make more informed financial decisions, which is what the Thought Card is all about. So if you ever wondered when is the best time to buy an airline ticket, this is the episode for you. Okay, so cheapair.com released its 2018 annual airfare study, which looked at 917 million airfares listed on its site in 2017. If you don't know, Cheap Air is a US-based booking site, and 90% of their bookings come from the US and Canada. So their findings are primarily for US-bound travelers, which means anyone flying from the States, this is applicable to you. This study uncovers when the cheapest times to fly are and the best and worst days to fly based on cost savings. So this is super valuable information. So in 2016, on average, the best day to buy flights was 54 days ahead of time. That number has since increased in 2017. In 2017, the magic number was 70 days in advance. So we're thinking a little bit over 2 months. Cheap Air stresses that although averages are a good guide, this isn't a hard and fast rule. So to break this down further, they actually have a really nice graph that helps you visualize this. And I can link to that original article in the show notes so you guys can check it out. So they broke timing in terms of when is the best time to book flights into 6 windows of time, which they call air quotes, booking zones. So the 6 include first dibs, peace of mind, prime booking window, push your luck, playing with fire, and Hail Mary. So I love these names because these names are really just straightforward. First dibs is literally first dibs. You're getting the first seats that come out. Hail Mary, that means you're really in the hot seat there. So I really like that they made these booking zone names really fun, and at a first glance, anyone can just read it and kind of get the gist of what's going on. So I want you to take a minute and think about when are the times that you normally book your flights. If you had to guesstimate on average, are you booking, super early, like a year out, or are you booking super last minute, like a week out? So let's dive into all 6. So number 1, we're going to talk about first dibs. According to cheapair.com, first dibs is booking a flight between 6 to 11 months in advance. Now, there are a bunch of pros and also a bunch of cons to booking this far in advance. The pros are that your group gets to sit together. So if you have a family or if you're traveling with a large group of friends or other people, getting the first dibs is really great because you're going to sit together. You fly at the times that you want and you pick the best itineraries because you get first dibs. On the other side, the con is that you'll pay on average $50 more. And this is usually before any of the fare sales that you find out there start to kick in. Now, the next zone is the peace of mind, anywhere from 4 to 6 months ahead of time. Now, the pros is that it really reduces your travel anxiety if you book this far in advance. And it actually costs you a little bit less than the first dibs. You get to lock in your dates and you have a decent number of flights and seat options to pick from. Now, the prime booking window is actually according to cheapair.com, is 3 weeks to 4 months in advance. And this is actually the sweet spot because this is where you're going to find these cheap airfare and find the fair deals. This is the best zone to find a bargain. But to be honest, I found a lot of deals 6 months ahead of time. Again, this is generally speaking and not a hard and fast rule. So according to cheapair.com, anywhere between 3 to 4 months in advance. But personally speaking, from my personal experience, 6 months is always a good indicator to start looking as well. All right, so now we're going to start moving a little bit more into the hot seat. Playing with fire. Playing with fire is 1 to 2 weeks before your trip. You are most certainly going to pay more money than the prime booking window because you have less flight options available. But the good news is that you pay less than people who are waiting until the very last minute. Hail Mary is, I don't even know what to say to you at this point, but sometimes it happens when you have emergencies and you kind of just have to go really quickly. But during the Hail Mary time is really, anywhere from a week to the day of. You'll likely pay a lot more and on average $208 more than the prime booking window. And of course, when you're booking last minute, you have a lot less options. I found this super, super, super fascinating. Now time for some trivia. So I actually have 4 questions to ask you. And we're going to play a game and I'm going to give you my responses after you think about yours. How many times do you think the prices of airfare changes? If you guessed 63 times, then you're correct. Ding, 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 ding. Number 2, is there a cheapest day to book? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say Tuesday because Tuesday used to be, or maybe it's a myth. Who knows at this point? But there isn't a cheapest day to book. Booking any day of the week is what is recommended because the difference from day to day is only $2, which is generally very insignificant. So is there a cheapest day to book? No, not really. Book any day that you see fit. Number 3, guess what's the cheapest day of the week to fly? If you guessed Tuesday, like me, then you are actually partially correct. Tuesday and Wednesday are the cheapest days to fly. And lastly, guess what is the most expensive day of the week to fly? I actually got this one correct because I guessed Sunday. And Sunday is the most expensive. Womp womp. No surprise there. And I personally think that's probably because, a lot of people are going back to work on Monday and flying and, weekend getaways. And it's just like Sunday is just, we really have no choice. So it sucks. But Sunday is generally the most expensive day to fly. Now, the difference between flying on a Wednesday and a Sunday is on average $76. So if you have the flexibility and you have the option, definitely consider flying on a Tuesday and Wednesday compared to flying on a Sunday. So I really like Cheap Air's report because it's easy to understand and I can dare say that it was actually fun to read about. I know I'm getting out of hand. But anywho, based on this, here's what you need to know. Airfares change a lot, something like 63 times. That's once every 5 to 6 days. So airfare prices are super volatile. When you know where you want to go, set up a price alert to help you track flight prices over time. Now you can use Skyscanner or you can use Google Flights or whatever booking site that you prefer or search engine site. But I really enjoy Skyscanner and Google Flights. They're super, super easy. And the reason why you're setting up price alerts is that you want to establish a baseline. This is the number in my mind is the number I need to beat. Because the baseline is like, okay, that on average, flights cost this, and I want a cheaper flight than that. So I'm going to look for flights that cost less than that. The last step is that when you see a good deal, because you know the baseline, you know what the average is, having a travel fund is super important because now you can just jump on it and you'll be ready. If you want to know why having a travel fund is super duper important to affording a life of more travel, listen back to episode number 2. If you take away anything from this mini bonus episode, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the best days to fly, and Sundays is going to be the most expensive days to fly. You can book any day you want because it really doesn't matter. It's really insignificant, the difference in days. And the best flight deals are between 3 weeks and 4 months, but for me, it's like you can actually extend it to 6. And that is all for today. Time for me to go on a hunt for my next flight deal.